Hey, what's up, family? It's me, your girl Melissa D, joining you for another episode of the Activation Hour. Listen, if you've been with me for a while now, you know that we are accepting influence this season, and that's in every area from transforming your life, getting our health together, relationships together, and we can't leave out finances. Listen, I know what it's like to know you have big dreams, big ideas, but who's going to finance and fund it? Well, there's a way that you can be the bank and be an influencer. And who better than my guest today, Ashley Cunningham, who is just a phenomenal powerhouse when it comes to setting up your personal and your business credit to finance your influence. So stay tuned and locked in for today's episode as we talk about how to finance your influence. Let me tell you a little bit about Ashley so you know what she's coming to share with you today. Ashley Loveless Cunningham. She is the CEO of Ash the Life Changer and often called the lady who leaves nothing on the table. Born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, Ashley is a serial entrepreneur. Many of you can relate to that because we're all the blend and multi hyphenate in a lot of ways. In addition to her running her successful credit repair business, she just recently launched a free teen financial literacy course called Credit Rising Teens. Ashley also has a perfume line called Loveless. She is a three-time author and preparing to launch her very own credit repair software. Y'all, do you see where this woman is building an empire and financing her influence? She through her software, she plans to have a dispute eraser where she's been fortunate to own and operate several other companies, leading her to begin her own coaching career. As a new industry mentor, Ashley hopes to return the love, passion, and joy she's also received through this journey. Are you ready to finance your influence? Let's get activated. Tune in to this episode. Hey, Ashley, how are you?
I am amazing. How about yourself?
I'm the same. Look, I'm so excited to spend a little time with you today. Fellow Alabama girls here, and we're showing
I
them that
know it.
we can do it big and have influence from wherever we are. So I appreciate you coming to over to the activation hour.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, listen, you are truly the definition of the multi hyphenate, blended, multi talented entrepreneur. You do amazing things. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself in between what the bio says. But who's Ashley and why are you excited about giving people financial freedom and helping them build their empire?
First and foremost, I'm a wife and I'm a mother. I have four beautiful kids and three dogs. Um, I'm just a happy, bubbly person. I always wanted to be successful. That's something I've always strived for, even as a young teen, high school. Um, I have a office here in Mobile. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I've always been very ambitious. I always wanted to be successful. Just wanted to be the example to show other women and men and young ladies and young men that we can do this. There's nothing out of our reach.
Yeah.
I started my perfume line simply because I love perfume. And I wanted to do something that nobody around me was doing, nobody ever talked about. And that's just kind of how my mind always works. I'm the person that will take the risk. Um,
Mhm.
if I can see it on the shelf, is why can't I create that product? Why can I not do that? Why can't I get my perfume in stores? So that's just the mindset I've always had. And I just, like I said, just wanted to be the example. Just wanted to be the one that paved the way to show others that you can do this as well. So that's Ashley. Ashley's just one of those people who strives to lead.
I love it. So I have to ask with these with the diverse things you're doing and how you've built your portfolio and your influence, which came first, the financial literacy, credit repair, or the perfume line? Like what order did these things happen or what order were they birthed for you?
The credit repair program was my first baby. That was my first business. I've been in the industry for 15 years now.
Mhm.
I got in it off of me having bad credit. My credit
Mhm.
was horrible, and I was playing around with it, trying to get a car, and something sparked once I fixed my own credit, and I saw how it actually opened up doors for me that were being
Mhm.
closed at one point in time in my life. And so I started reaching out and doing, helping my family fix their credit. And once I did that, it was like one day it clicked, and I said, this really could help a lot of people, and I made it. I started repairing credit. It was really like a hobby at first. I was still
Okay.
working full time at a job, and once I found a love for it because I saw how people's life would change and they were able to buy houses and get cars that they never thought they'll be able to get. And I just started doing more research and finding new ways to help my clients and educate myself. And here I am 15 years later. And then I eventually transitioned into the business credit world. Um,
Mhm.
and I'll say about 4 years ago, something woke up in me and I said, you know what? I remember when I went off to college, I didn't have knowledge of financial literacy or credit cards or budgeting or anything like that. And I just decided that I wanted to teach the teens something that I wasn't taught at a young age. And maybe if I had had some type of knowledge, I could have avoided a lot of mishaps, a lot of financial stress that I went through as a young adult, as a young mother.
Mhm.
So I just decided to create a course. And when I first created that course, it was more so like a one-on-one where I had teens come to my office and I would play games with them and we'll do educational things. But then COVID came around and we had to put that on the back burner. So then the course came about. I said, well, I can create a digital course, and this way I could touch more than just my city. It could be for kids all over the world.
Mhm.
And so now I'm working to try to get that into the high schools because it's an 8 module course, but it doesn't just focus on financial literacy. It talks about everyday things like writing checks, choosing the right banks, interviewing questions, all kind of stuff that teens are going to be faced with, once they become young adults. So
Mhm.
that's how my journey started.
I love it. I mean, just the fact that you didn't just stop at, let me get myself together, let me build my credit to have a better life for me and my family, but the fact that you express influence first through giving back. It was
Yes.
like, hey, I love this so much and what it did for my family. Let me help other families and other kids. And that's so amazing. I want to take it a step back though. I always believe, especially when we talk about the activation hour, activation is an event in your life, something that you came to a crossroads and you're like, hey, something's got to change. It can't, I can't keep living like this. Something just clicked in you. It's almost like God flipped a switch. It's like, girl, we got to do something different. What was that activation? It had to be something when you said, you know what? I deserve better than this, or I know I can have a better financial future. What was that event that really made you say, I'm about to get my credit right?
Well, I woke up one day. I remember when I moved back here to Mobile. I went to school in Montgomery, Alabama State. And I came back to Mobile and I stayed with one of my girlfriends for a few months. Till I, figured out what I wanted to do because my plan was to go to Atlanta. So I stayed with her for like 2 months and I ended up getting an apartment. When I went to get this apartment, again, I knew nothing about credit. I knew I got a credit card when I was like 17 years old in high school.
Mhm.
I didn't pay this credit card. I went to get an apartment, and when I did the application, they said, well, we can approve you for the apartment, but you're gonna have to pay a higher deposit because your credit score is lower and you have a couple accounts on there. And I was like, okay. So I paid it, still didn't focus on my credit. Um, Life happened, got in a relationship. It wasn't the best. And when we parted ways, I had fixed my credit prior to us getting together. But when we parted ways, a lot of the stuff that we had collectively as a couple was in my name. And I had
Mhm.
a lot of debt. I had a good credit score, but a lot of debt. And at that point in time, I realized because life hit me really, really hard. I tell a lot of people, and one of my books that I wrote, which is called Beating the Beast at Its Game, I tell that story of how I went through a really bad financial setback in my life, and it was really bad to the point where I didn't know how me and my son was going to eat. It was really
Mhm.
working just to pay the bills, staying in the house, maybe $10 in my account to the next pay period. But I made it happen. I made it happen with the faith that I had in God, that I knew, it was just a test. It was a test. And I had, He was showing me that I misused finances when I had
Mhm.
money coming in really good because I had good credit and I was
Mhm.
able to go just get whatever I wanted. So that point in time in my life was like a really big it was a wake up call for me. And I tell people this all the time when I'm counseling my clients. I try to explain to them why I am how I am now, and I'm a stickler for educating people on
Mm-hmm.
financial literacy and budgeting and investing their money. Because a lot of times when we are making good money and we are in a good position with our credit, we tend to make bad decisions because we're able to.
Right.
And when you don't know better, you don't do better. So
Mm-hmm.
I teach them like, hey, we could definitely get the high limit credit cards. We can definitely, go get the nice cars and the nice houses. But what are we doing to keep those items?
Mm-hmm.
What habits are we creating so we can keep these items so that we don't foreclose or get repossession? So that was a really bad situation for me, but I don't even look at it really being really bad. It was really like the birth of a new baby for me, because I actually had stopped repairing credit around that time. And when I went through that, that was the breaking point for me that threw me back out, and I relaunched my business, and I've been out here doing this since then.
I
Yeah,
love that. I like
yeah,
that you said that. Like, I don't look at it necessarily as a bad situation. It was your transition. It was what you had to go through to set you up for
yes,
this thing. For really, it sounds to me like your gift, your purpose. Like you found the gift, the thing you had that made your life better, but everybody connected to you as well.
exactly, exactly. And when I was going through that, that was one of the things I kept saying. I couldn't, when you're trying to find some kind of way to come out of the storm, and it was like everything I was pulling at, it wasn't happening. It wasn't helping. So I started getting deep into prayer, and just started. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to meditate in that moment, and I was just praying, asking God to like reveal my purpose to me. What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be helping? Because I'm a strong believer. Out of everything that we do, there's somebody else we're supposed to be helping along the way. So I always say, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be helping? Why am I here? Like, what am I supposed to be doing in this moment? And through that, God just has been revealing. I mean, day after day, I'm definitely walking in my purpose. I'm truly supposed to be helping people get out of bondage, because that's exactly what we're
Mhm.
doing. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. As I hear you talk about it, and I can feel your passion for this and you're sharing it. That's how you can always tell. Like people will say,
Yes.
"Well, I do this, but I love this." I could tell you love it because
Yes.
of the lives that it's changing. But would you say, Ashley, that as you begin to build your credit, you got access to more financing, right? So it's like, oh, I have access to more money now. A lot of times when people say, well, I want a business, I want to help people, I want more influence to help other people, but they don't know how. I literally was talking to someone today. I talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, people that listen to the show, who they're bootstrapping. Like, hey, I'm making it. I got this idea. I had this dream. God put something on my heart, and I'm making it happen. I was like, are you making it happen out of your pockets? They're like, yeah. I've been there, done that too. And they just don't realize it's another way.
Hmm.
So, do you think that through having better personal and business credit, that will give you greater influence with banks, with institutions, with people? Talk about that for a minute.
Yes, most definitely. I just had this conversation with someone earlier that I did a consultation with, and I was explaining to them because we see a lot of stuff out here on the internet, social media. You can build business credit with your EIN, and to me, I'm one of those people that if I'm going to give you some information, I'm not going to give you half of it. I'm going to give you some information because
Right.
everybody does not retain or understand certain things the same way. So, yes, you can build business credit with your EIN and a profile, a full business profile, not just the EIN. But in my personal opinion, you have greater success if you have good personal credit and a solid business profile, because you can only go so far with just the EIN.
Right.
Contrary to what they may say, you need to have a good personal credit score. If it's your goal to access funding, like cash funding, private
Mhm.
lines of credit, if you're trying to get some type of, even with grants, a lot of people don't know, a lot of times we hear grants, 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 but you have to have certain things in place, set up correctly to qualify for grants. It's
Mhm.
not just a matter of applying for an application and boom, they're going to give you some money. You have to definitely, be set up properly to receive grants. So when it comes to business credit, I have most people that come to me is because they want to get some type of funding to fund a business. They want to get some type of funding to get fleet for their trucking business or whatever it may be. But
Mhm.
if your personal credit is not where it needs to be and that company requires a personal guarantee, which is a PG, you're not
Mhm.
going to get approved, you know. And if you're not using a business checking accounts properly and showing that you're making some type of money, you're not going to get approved because, you know, you always want to make the banks feel that you don't need their money. You want their money, but you don't need their money. But if you look like you need their money, you look risky to them.
Mhm.
So you can't expect them to give you 20,000 and you not even fleshing 2,000 through the bank account a month. The
Mhm.
personal credit score is around 550, 600. They're taking too many risks. So you always
Right.
want to be strong in one area if you're weak in another. So I always tell my clients, if you're weak in the credit score, you want the bank statements to look really strong because they can kind of wait it too. But if you're weak in the bank with the bank statements and your financials, you want your personal credit to be strong. So, you know, it kind of goes hand to hand, but I always encourage my clients to make sure that they are definitely working on both because we
Mhm.
don't want to limit ourselves. Again, we don't want to leave no money on the table. And if you're
Right.
not, yeah, if you're not going in with the mindset that you're going to set yourself up for success, more than
Mhm.
likely you're leaving some money on the table.
I'm so glad that you were real with us because seriously, like, as an entrepreneur as well, like, and even though my entrepreneurial journey was different. Like, I did all the things they tell you to do, but that was one of the
Mm-hmm.
things they didn't like. They don't teach this stuff in school. I don't care how
Mm-mm.
many degrees you have. No one's teaching the life skill of good financial stewardship, financial management. They may teach you how to budget or you learn accounting, but you're not learning how to use credit. And
Right.
definitely out here in these internet streets, when you start scrolling on IG and other things, everybody's talking about, oh, like you said, use your EIN. And I learned that the hard way too. Like, I was one of those people. I'll be the first to raise my hand and tell on myself. Actually, like, I made great money as an executive, but did not really sit down and have the discipline and stewardship to say, hey, while this income is coming in, let me build up my credit profile so that I can not only use the capital of money I'm making, but I can use the capital of other people's money. And
Mm-hmm.
no one tells you that, because then you kind of playing the gambling game, right? It's like, well, let me just apply and eventually somebody gonna take me. Like, and you just running it up, right? And so
Yep.
thank you for being honest about that,
You're
because
welcome.
I haven't heard anyone just flat out say, look, we need to work on your personal credit too. Like, don't
Oh
just
yeah.
think you gonna run game on the business credit people and your personal stuff is jacked up.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, what you're gonna get, you know, when clients come to me and their credit is not intact, I'm transparent, regardless, because I'm one of those people. Do I want you as a client? Yes, but I'm not one of those people that's gonna feed you, you know, whatever you want to hear just to get your money. I want to be transparent as possible with you, so you know what you're up against. So if you come to me and you have a bad credit profile, can we build your business credit? Yes. How far are we gonna get? Not very far. If you want to get some store cards, some gas cards, of course, we can get one major card with Sam's Club. Then yeah, we can do that. And I'm gonna tell you that. But I'm gonna tell you this is just as how far as you're gonna get. You're not gonna get lines of credit. You're not gonna be getting $20,000, $30,000 approvals because your personal credit is not gonna allow you to do that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So I'm gonna be the voice of that person that's like having some of those issues, right? So y'all, I'm trying to kind of channel what questions you would ask Ashley here. Which, by the way, if you're listening to the show, don't forget, click the link in our show notes. You can leave us a voice note. You can leave a question. Just click, hey, send a voice note, and we can actually listen. And you can leave an audio message for myself or for Ashley, so we make sure your questions are answered for the show. So I'm thinking about the person who, like, okay, Ashley, I hear you, right? So I either need to have one or the other, really preferably both. But I need to either have some money coming through this business to show that I can make money. But
Mhm.
then a lot of people say, well, how am I supposed to make money when I can't get inventory or I can't pay for anything with my startup? How do I make money when no one will give me money, Ashley?
Well, technically, when you first start your business credit, and this is where a lot of people go wrong with business credit,
Mm-hmm.
because again, we're on social media, so we
Yeah.
see just general lines of credit, vendor accounts that's floating around on the internet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much everybody signs up for the same accounts. A lot of people don't do research. So what I tell my clients to do, and what I do a lot of times, even in my university, I take it upon myself because I know most people don't think like I think. If I'm in the beauty industry, let's say I'm a lash tech, I'm gonna go to Google and I'm gonna type in net 30 accounts for lash techs, net 30 account for beauty bars, net 30 accounts for beauty salons, net 30 accounts for hairstylists and things of that nature. And there are a list of net 30 and net 60 accounts that you can get for your industry. A lot of people aren't going to get those net 30. They're just sticking with the Quill, the Uline, and Granger, where when you need to be focusing on your industry and start getting those accounts, because those accounts will give you a line of credit that you can get inventory with, and you don't pay anything out of pocket for at least 30 to 60 days. How is this helping you? This is allowing you to get your inventory, make your money, and then you pay back what you owe this company, but you've made a profit. So we always want to do research. You don't go with just the first thing you see on, Instagram or Facebook. There are other net 30 accounts out there that you can use that is like your first tier one or tier two accounts that requires you to have no perfect personal credit. No perfect personal credit. So you are definitely able to get inventory to start your business that requires you to have no money up front. So we just have to start doing our research and making sure that we are, using the net 30 and the net 60 accounts that work for our business. I know a lot of people, we just see certain things out there and we kind of go with the flow and what everybody else is doing. But I want individuals to know that if you're trying to grow your business and you don't have $5,000, $10,000 laying around, start doing some research and getting those net accounts that's going to help you leverage your business to start making money so you can show that you have money in your account. Now, when you get to tier two and tier three, you're pretty much set up.
So if I were to sum up what you said, I hope y'all are listening. Have a plan for how you're going to use your credit for inventory to run up the revenue and the income. Then you can
Mm-hmm.
go back and get those net 30 and net 60 accounts. I have it right, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See, I love how you said, you like, look, most people don't think like that. We don't think like how the wealthy think. The wealthy
Exactly.
understand the principle of what I call OPM. When you hear people say OPM, other people's money.
Money. And that's
Literally,
the
banks
name of the
do it
game.
all the time. That banks make money off of our money.
Yes. And we're learning to make money off of their money. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of people are noticing, and I probably am noticing this because I do this day in and day out. The more of us are getting on business credit, this is something that we're tapping into. So, of course, when everybody starts figuring out what's going on and how to use it, they kind of start making it hard for us. And this is another reason why you want to get your personal credit intake, because a lot of accounts that did not require us to PG just months ago, they're requiring us to PG now. So it's going to get harder, but that doesn't mean we don't stop building business credit. We just make sure we put ourselves in a position so we can build. And if
Yeah.
they say we need to PG, that's okay. We'll PG. We're
Mm.
doing whatever we need to get to the top. We're going to continue to use their money to make money. That's the name of the game.
I love it. So, guys, as you're building credit, you're building influence with banks, you're building influence with institutions that will lend you the money to get the
Mhm.
inventory and build. So, actually, let's shift for a minute. We're talking to grown folks, adults who have the capacity to go out and get it, but you also have the heart for the youth, for young people. As a mom, as a woman in the community, right? You came back home like, hey, let me go help my people, my hometown. Let me go help children. I love, love, love. And y'all know, if you listening, you rocking with me, community is like the core of what I do about activating voices. But you're activating financial literacy and financial freedom because we know they're not learning it in schools.
Mhm.
Tell us more about how you are gifting financial literacy to kids and some tips for the parents that are listening. Even if you're not a parent, if you have a young person in your life of whom you influence, how can we influence our young people to be financially literate?
First and foremost, what I've been doing, like I said, I started this program with just a group of kids. And now my movement with this, of course, I'm blasting it on social media, trying to get as many parents to get signed up, get the kids signed up as possible. And I've been encouraging parents like, hey, if you lack financial literacy, it's a free course. Sign up. because it starts with the parents. It starts at home, you
Yes.
know. And one thing that I'm really trying to push my parents, and why like I'm on social media and I'm probably way too loud than more than I need to be, is because as parents we can help our teens get their credit in order before they even go out into the world, but your credit has to
Absolutely.
be in order. You have to be able to set the tone, and by doing so, if your credit is in order, you can get a credit card, and you can add your teens on your credit card. I added my son on my credit card when he was 13 years old, and he's 16 now. And I was able to do the Equifax plan for it's called a family Equifax plan, and I could pull his credit
Mhm.
report. And I just pulled it this year, and he has a 784. He's 16 years old. But I did this when he was 13. I put him on my Nordstrom Visa credit card. I didn't really use the card. I kept the balance to like a 2% every month, put Netflix on it or something like that. And that is the card like that he's been on for 3 years now. So I set the tone early to make sure when he graduates from high school, he's going to graduate with an 800 credit score or better. So that is something that I did for my baby. I did that for my baby early on because I know when I graduated from high school, I didn't even know what credit was. That was not the something
Mhm.
that came across my mind. But now that I know better, I have to do better for him. So I'm sending him into the world with perfect credit. I'm educating him now. So this is something that we as parents, like we have to get our credit in order so we can help our kids, because if you're not focused on your credit and you're not excited about it, you're not going to have those conversations with your kids. You're not going to be focused on keeping this credit card balance low or adding your kids on there.
Right.
But if we get excited about it now and we go ahead and set our kids up, go take them to get bank accounts. You know, take them into the bank. Let you sit down with a banker and have the conversations with the banker about the different type of checking accounts, and how much money needs to be in this account, and about overdrafts and things of that nature.
Mhm.
When we don't have those type of conversations with our kids, they don't know until they're faced with those issues and how to handle them. And then some people don't want to handle them, so what they just
Mhm.
leave their overdraft account out there, and then it becomes a collection, and now it's a problem. So I'm just trying to really educate parents, touch as many teens in the school system. I actually go to a school Tuesday to speak to some seniors, because I'm really big on not so much pushing entrepreneurship, but just giving the high school students options, because everybody doesn't want to go to college. Everybody can't go to college. Everybody parents are not set up to send them to college. And
Mhm.
we don't want them to come out here in the world and be confused about what they want to do when there's so much they can do. So I'm going to just introduce myself, kind of tell them what I do. And I have a course that I'm getting ready to roll out, which is how to create your own perfume private label line. So I'm going to
Right.
be giving away scholarships when I go to the school Tuesday for some of the kids to actually take the course for free, so that they can, have, if they want to do it, the option is there for them.
Wow.
Even if they go off to college, it's still something that they could potentially, pursue. So I'm just trying to bridge the gap, just trying to show
Yeah.
kids, hey, just a little brown girl who wanted to be successful, and this is what I'm doing. But they can do it too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I commend you so much for, I mean, I'm inspired and I'm activated listening to you. Like, it makes me want to do more, right? Like, I believe, and we talk about it in our community, activated living is a lifestyle where you don't just get excited and activated in your gifts, but what are you doing to give back and to
Mhm.
use that influence to activate other people? Like you said, you could have just been like, hey, I got this perfume line, I'm doing these things, whatever, look at me. But you're gifting, you're having influence, not just on your peers and other adults, but on a whole nother generation of future entrepreneurs. Y'all, that is accepting influence. That is the essence of what we're talking about in this season, is how do I take what I know and influence other people to do the same? That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. And a part of that is, and I'm so glad we're talking about this now, because what I take from what you said is you have to give. Like, you can build all the wealth you want, but if you're not reaching back and giving back, what are you doing it for?
Exactly. You have to send the elevator back down. Have to
Send
send
the
it back
elevator
down.
back down. Absolutely. So, okay, I'm building up to, I'm kind of connecting the dots for Ashley's journey. So next comes the perfume line, I guess. Like you were
Mhm.
just like, okay, I got my money right. What I'm gonna do with my money? What we doing now? And then perfume.
Yeah.
How did that come about, Ashley?
In all honesty, I was laying in the bed one night, and I have a transportation business too, and I was like, I want to do something. I want to do something, but I want it to be different, and I want to do something that nobody around me is doing. And I went to researching, and then I went to looking around my room, and I literally don't laugh. I have about 200 bottles of perfume, and I was like, well, I'm a
No
firm believer,
judgment.
like,
I'm not far
yeah.
behind you on that.
Yeah. So my thought process for businesses, any business I ever started, I have to like it, and I definitely have to love it in some type of capacity. I don't always want it to be about money, because if I don't love it, I don't like it, I'm not gonna want to get up and do it. I'm not gonna want to push the brand. So I was like, I'm gonna start a perfume line. And again, I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm not. I don't think that there's nothing that I can't do. I'm a risk taker. So I went to researching. And I started finding suppliers, and I found a chemist, and I got my first fragrance, and I end up backing away from the project for like 2 years, because the chemist that made my fragrance the first time, he just went ghost on me. And I
Mm,
and I love that fragrance, and he went ghost on me, and I was like, okay. So I kind of got discouraged with it. And then maybe like a year and a half later, I met my husband. Well, I've been knowing my husband for like 20 years. We've been friends for 20 years. Me and my husband, we got together, was dating, and I picked that perfume line back up. And the name of the perfume line was Loveless. And I decided to name all of my fragrances, just things about our love. So my first fragrance is called Sacred Love.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was my first fragrance, but it was in French. It was a more sacred. So I got that fragrance line. I did really good with it. I didn't get that one in stores. I reached out to a couple of companies to do some reviews on my fragrance, to try to get them into stores. And I had a review about 6 months ago. And one of the guys that did my review, they told me that they decided not to go with it, but they did tell me exactly what I needed to do to get it in stores, and why they decided not to go with it. So I told my husband, I said, okay, so my fragrance is going in stores, because when I first started this journey, we travel a lot, and every time we travel, I'll always see like little fragrance shops in the airport, and I'll
Uh-huh.
say stuff like, Loveless, it look good right there. Um, and
Come
we
on,
go to bigger, yeah,
visionary.
yeah. So we go to different malls. Me and him, we like love perfume and cologne. Every time we go somewhere, we buy perfume and cologne. But I'm
Mhm.
a bottle girl. I like the bottles. Like, I have
That's
fragrances that I've
this
never
what
even wore.
attracts you, right? You're like, oh,
Yes,
that's pretty. You don't know the
yeah,
smell. You just run.
exactly. I have so many bottles of perfume I've never wore. I just like the bottles. So um, when I started this I got a line I'm getting ready to come out with the first of the year. I was focused on the bottle, because my first fragrance was, to me, a lot of people say it wasn't, but it was a rush for me. A lot of people
Mhm.
say it was, and it smells really good. The bottle's really classy and nice, but to me it was a rush. So I took the information that the reviewer gave me, and I took my time this go around, and I think I've narrowed it down. I narrowed it down. So I'm really, really excited about this fragrance, because what I've been doing like the last year now, I've been going into like Neiman and sex, and I've been studying the fragrance lines, the bottles, the whole concept behind the bottles, the fragrance itself. And I found me a new chemist and a new supplier. And this has been really, I'm in a shift to where I feel that this fragrance is definitely going in the stores.
This the
I,
one.
yeah, I've seen it. I've had dreams about it, and I feel it. And it's like every time I do something, to wrap up the production of it, is just, it seems so surreal, like it's happening. So I'm just excited about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
There's so many lessons that I'm taking from this part of your journey. I'm having my own activations here. And by the way, guys, if you're listening, don't forget this is a perfect time to pull out your activation episode journal, because we about to really unpack what Miss Ashley gave us. The CEO is teaching if you're really listening. Inside your story, what I take from that is don't give up on the first try.
Mm-mm.
Because things will happen. Suppliers will go ghost on you,
Mhm.
partners will go ghost on you, or things won't work out, and oftentimes we'll leave it there. but don't put the dream down. And then also too, do something. You said something so key, Ashley. I hope y'all caught this. If I'm gonna start a business and I'm going to have influence through finances, I'm putting my money on the line here. It has to be something I love, because you're not gonna want to promote it if you don't love
Mm-mm.
it. That is so powerful. So first, you have to love it so much that it influences you to
Yes,
push it so it influences other people. I hope y'all are getting these lessons, y'all, and writing them down in your journal. The last part of what I took from what you shared is holding on to your vision. Like, it's
yes,
got to be so real for you, that it's so real in your mind that you lived it already. It's in the story in your mind. Like, I'm with you. I'm vision casting. Like, girl, I see it. I see it up in Saks and Nordstrom. You got me pulled into the dream just listening to you.
yes,
That's the key. Like, you had influence. I hadn't seen a bottle. I don't have a bottle, but I'm ready to go get mine. Why? Because you believe in it that much. So a
yes,
part of your influence is your vision and your belief for the thing you want to influence other people to do.
yes,
Am I
yes.
right or am I right?
You're right. You're right. You're dead on it because I go into sex, and when me and my husband travel, we going to Atlanta tomorrow. And
Mhm.
I know he gets tired of me. I literally, like, I don't drive over bridges, so he drives me when we going. But I literally have him to take me to the mall just to go to the perfume area because I need to. That's my lock in. I have to lock in. That's
Mhm.
like my out of everywhere in the stores. That's where my piece is. I can go over there and I literally like fall in love. But I've already like I'm not going to even tell you. I literally have envisioned where my perfume, what other perfume is going to be next to it.
Woo!
It's a yeah, it's amazing.
Y'all,
I've created a whole line. Yes, and I go
y'all.
I and I pretty much have pushed myself to like get out of my comfort zone because at first when I was trying to get in sex and Neiman, I was getting a lot of runaround. So I took a different approach.
Mhm.
This go around, I have my samples. This has a sample card. See, I didn't do all of this the first time. I rushed it, and
Mhm.
it's a luxury line this time. So I've made contact with them, and I said, hey. I just want to see if I can bring some samples in to different locations, and you just pass them out for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I thought they were going to give me like the runaround. Oh, we can't just do that. They was like, oh yeah, just bring them into our fragrance counter and give them to one of the associates, and they'll definitely distribute them for you. So for me, that's a huge win because I know the fragrance itself is amazing. So
Mhm.
the more they give out samples, and the more people continue to ask for them, they will eventually have to bring it into the store.
You know, I I'm inspired. I'm activated in this moment. Guys, y'all better take a page from CEO Ash over here, because not only you are a student of your craft.
Hmm.
And so for you to have influence in your finances and not waste money, study the industry where you are putting your money and your time and your hopes and dreams. And you took the advice from someone who told you no, applied it, tweaked it, and went back out there. So I'm gonna
Yes,
bring this back full circle. I'm gonna bring it back to finances, right? If y'all listening, we're not jumping around. We still on topic. Listen carefully. You can we do the same thing, Ashley, when it comes to money? If we're denied, they do what? They send us that letter in the mail.
ma'am. I'm glad you said that.
Right,
Yes,
let's bring it back full circle.
yes, yes,
Learn from
yes,
the feedback of people who
yes,
tell you no to have financial influence. You want to talk about that a little bit? Help us
yes,
out.
indeed, I do because this is something I push because I have a university on Facebook, and it's a credit university, and I teach business. It's a university. I'm not going to say it's a credit university. It's a university. We talk about everything over there, from credit to finances to personal, to just building yourself up. Because first and foremost, if you're not in a good headspace, you're not focused on your personal finances. You're just not. You don't want to be a business credit. You're trying to get past the mental or whatever you're going on. But when you apply for credit, this is very, very key point. When you apply for your credit, let's say you apply for a credit card, you get declined. The most important thing you should be doing, you should be focusing and watching the mailbox for that letter to come in the mailbox or that email to come in the mailbox to tell you why you got declined. The worst thing we do is we give denial. We don't know why we got denied, so we don't know what to fix, right? We wait a couple of months, or we wait a month and we're going to apply again. But not one time have we identified the issue and fixed the issue before we go apply blindly and get denied again. This is not only this doesn't only apply for personal, your credit. This is something that we should do in everyday life. When things, if you go into, we'll just say you go to get a washing machine and you get denied, you need to know why you got denied. You got to fix the problem. We cannot just go and, okay, I got denied, I'm gonna try it again in a few minutes. When you get that letter in the mail, I want you to open that letter and read exactly what was the issue. Why were you denied? Did it say that you have insufficient credit history? Okay, if you have insufficient credit history, that means you don't have, your credit is not strong enough. So what do you need to do? Because you're not just going to build credit, or you're not going to get, a sufficient credit history if you don't do anything. If you're lacking, if you have insufficient credit history, more than likely you want to go get a trade line or something added on your credit. Or if you have a friend or family member that has a strong credit profile, you want to get them to add you on their credit profile so you can get that payment history and age to reflect. That's how you get sufficient credit history. Or it may say you have too many derogatory accounts, too many recent lates. That means that recently you were late on the account, and that's affecting your credit profile. Or you have derogatory accounts. You may have some collections. You may have some late payments. You may have some repossessions on your credit. So you don't want to go back out there and just apply. You want to go and let somebody help you with your credit profile, or you want to work on them yourself. Get over at New Credit Inc. University. I have resources over there that can help you. Free resources. Again, it's a DIY group, so of course you'll be doing the work yourself. If you want to get in my credit repair program, we can help you. We can help fix these issues if you want to sign up for the program. But you don't want to just go back and apply again. You want to attack these issues, clean up the credit profile, then you proceed with applying again once you know those issues have been taken care of. Because if you don't, you're going to get the same response. You have to fix the issue. And it doesn't mean, okay, I got declined, I'm just done with my credit, I'm not finna do this anymore. No, we definitely want to get the approvals, but we have to figure out what the issue is. And a lot of these companies are telling us what the issue is. We're not taking the initiative, and we're not holding ourselves accountable to fix it. Or, it's easy for people not to do it, or to stop, or just, not focus on the problem instead of fixing the problem. So we have to make sure that we're getting those letters, paying attention, listening to what's being said to us, and using that information as ammunition to do what we need to do to get the approvals and to move successfully in our lives. So look at everything as a, hey, I'm grateful for that God telling me what the issue was and why they didn't want to move forward. It wasn't a hard no, it was just a not right now. And I'm a firm believer. I'm okay with getting no's. I'm okay with getting not right now, because I'm the girl that's going, when I got through talking with this guy, I told him, okay, I'll see you in a year, because I will be back. I just I'm not taking it as, oh, we're never gonna do it, or you're just not a good candidate. I'm definitely gonna be back. And I hope that you're the reviewer that I see next year, because I'll be back. So
Y'all better get some of this resiliency. She dropping, like she said, I will be back. I will see
oh
you in
yeah.
a year. Don't be afraid of no's. I think that's why people are scared to launch out and do things. Ashley, it's because, well, what if they say no? Some people will. Like, go ahead and get
Yeah.
that in your spirit. Some people will,
Yeah.
but they're telling you how to come back and get the yeses. Focus on that. Hone
Yeah.
your craft, lock in, use your influence, your God-given influence, and build influence through finances. Y'all, I'm so activated right now. I told y'all I got my episode journal. I don't know what y'all doing over here, but I'm taking notes. And if you want to take notes with me as you're listening to this episode, and actually catch all the jewels that CEO Ash, the life changer, she changing lives through credit, through finance, through influence, y'all, make sure you go grab your journal. Click the show notes. They are in the show notes, whether you're watching us live with our broadcast on YouTube or the replay, or if you're listening on all podcasting platforms, just click the link, grab the journal. I believe that there's no activation without action. And don't forget, we have to shout out our sponsors. This episode is brought to us by Activation Coaching International, where we are inviting you to meet us for our first VIP mastermind experience in lovely Nassau, Bahamas. We are activating by the ocean. Meet us December 8th through 11th. We literally only have a few limited seats left where you can activate with us for 3 days on a villa by the ocean, writing your story, building your message, building your platform to speak, and walking away with your package as a professional speaker in 2023. Meet me there. And go grab Ashley's information so you can get your money right and be there in the
That's
Bahamas.
right.
Oh, I love
That's
it.
right.
Ashley, I have so enjoyed this conversation with you. I'm serious. I got my notes and I am ready to take action on these things. You can never, like, I'm not an expert. I say I'm forever a student. I'm a student for every guest that comes on here, and this is no different. And I'm honored that you took the time today
Yes.
on Friday as we're talking to share this information. Any final thoughts, or you want to tell them a little bit more about how they can take part in your free university or any other resources to work with you, CEO Ash, the life changer?
Yes, yes, yes. First and foremost, like I said, you can join us in New Credit Inc. University. It is a free university. You can come over there. Like I said, there are resources in there for you to build business credit, to repair your personal credit. When you come in, hey, we're one big family. Come in with positive attitude and get to work. You can reach me on newcreditinc.org. You can also, my mentorship program is on savagemodeCEOs.com. Hey, fragrance is lovelessfragrance.com. I'm on Instagram under CEO Ash the Life Changer. On Facebook, I'm under Ashley Loveless Cunningham. And I would love to connect with you guys. I hope that this information was valuable and you take action today. Most importantly, like Melissa said, there is no activation without action. We have to move with intentional action every day.
You got it. Y'all, you've heard it from Ashley herself. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence
You're
today.
welcome. You're welcome.
Family, it's been such a joy to get activated with you. Don't be stingy, y'all. If this information was good, you already know how I am. You got to share it. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, share this information because we want to continue to use influence and help other people be financially free. I'm your girl, Melissa D, joining you for another episode. Make sure you stay connected for more of this season of Accepting Influence. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, audience.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you on the next one. Bye,
All right.
y'all.
All right.